much, Dr. Angela, for that introduction. I believe, let me start by saying this. I believe 3 years ago I had a word, and I was wondering, you mean people have such type of people in their lives? And the word that I had was personal board of directors. I was like, there are people who are really forward thinking in this life. Where have I been? So I want you to look at this panel discussion, not as a panel discussion, but look at everyone here as your personal board of director. So today you are privileged to have a personal board of director that captures your health, that captures everything to do with your journey. We have a coach that captures everything to do with risk management. We have Miss Carol. That captures everything to do with your health, and we have Dr. Solomon. Give them a round of applause. Maybe let me define. Your personal board of directors are people who inspire you. They challenge you. Companies have their own boards, right? But now look at yourself as your own company. Separate if you have a business. Look at your own individual. This is your personal board of directors. So today they will be sharing with you critical things as you are working towards your purpose. So let me start with Dr. Solomon. One of the key things, we are some of us are Kenyans. We are wondering, today I'll see that doctor. Tomorrow I'll see the other doctor. I don't know about you. Maybe some of us have 5 doctors on call. But Dr. Solomon, maybe you can answer and tell us, why is it important to have a personal doctor rather than having an array of doctors, especially as you're working towards your health and a health that sustains you to build your purpose? Maybe you can answer that question.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, thanks a lot for this opportunity, Angie, and everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I must confess, this is the first such forum I'm actually involved in. So thanks a lot. I'm really excited, and long may this continue. You'll always have my support. Yeah, so to answer that question, I think there's a saying that goes, your health is your wealth. So for you to achieve anything in life, for you to achieve your purpose, you need to be healthy. And I think looking at life as a board, as a company, and it's a really fresh way of looking at your life, and it actually inspires you to really have a hold on it. And the importance really is just the way you need a lawyer, an accountant, a risk manager. I think you also need to have a personal doctor to be part of your team, because this has many advantages, and it's always good to have this journey called life with one or few specific, especially doctors, because these are people who get to really know you from the onset, and in case anything changes, there are some changes that can occur very subtly, and you wouldn't really pick them up until you have a keen eye that looks at you and picks it up early. So having that person to walk your journey really helps you, one, identify risks early. 2, also they enable you just to consolidate your healthcare needs. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so having one person who helps you interpret different challenges that you may have with the most important asset, which is your health, I think it's always good. So actually having a doctor in your life is one of the great board members you can add in your life. And this usually helps us treat our health proactively rather than reactively, because most of the time you'll find people going around their business really not even going to hospital for checkups until there's a health crisis. That's when people realize, oh, they're actually doctors we should see. So having one close to your board circle helps you be proactive about your health and prevents us being reactive and avoiding crisis. Mm-hmm. So I think that's how I'd sum it up.
Wow. A round of applause. Thank you so much. And we'll come back to you still when it comes to health, because that's important. Some of the things that increased during COVID and maybe it dipped was during COVID. I don't know, some of us we had home gyms, right? Who had a home gym? But then those are the days I realized there were so many workout on YouTubes. YouTube was reminding you because we couldn't walk, we couldn't go outside, so we had our home gym. But I want Mr. Fred to answer this question. Why is it important to have even a personal fitness coach as one of your board of directors? Because everyone in this room is working towards their purpose. You can answer that question.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name's Oduor. I'm a fitness coach. To have a fitness coach in your life, it's a very vital decision, because once you have a fitness coach, everything concerning your confidence, energy levels, and fitness wellness would go wrong. Yeah, like for example, Daktari, as she said, one day she's in hospital, the other time she's holding meetings, the other time she's flying out. That only that needs energy and resilience. So I'm the one who makes her she can sustain those long hours of working, yeah. And at the end of the day, she gets a good sleep. Thank you.
Wow, a round of applause. I don't know whether you've heard that, but I've come now. He's telling me for me to have the right energy to work towards my purpose, then I need the right coach who will give me the right, I believe, workouts that will allow me to make sure that I'm working towards my purpose and also my health, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and one of the things that these days we are no more aware about, and we have a liking towards, is having an executive or a life coach. And I want to ask Miss Angelikka, why is it important? We've looked at from doctor to your health, but why is, somebody's wondering, life coach, see, I can go to ChatGPT and I can ask it questions, right? How am I feeling today? Do you think in the next 2 years I need to shift into this career? But why is it important to have a life coach?
Thank you, Beatrice. In fact, another question would be, why can't I just ask my friends?
I know.
And we've had a few, Dr. Angela and I think Anita spoke about their friends who have called them out and stopped them and made them reflect. So what a coach will do for you is, we have professionals in this room, and as Ken said, life is very fast-paced. So we are moving, we are delivering, you're traveling, you have to, there's a lot of pressure. And before we get to where Anita, but your vulnerability was, something. Before we get to that point where you crash, the coach makes you stop in a safe space. You sit down and think about your life. The questions Dr. Angela asked us in the beginning: who am I? Where am I going? Why am I doing what I'm doing? You stop there. A client will come in and say, I'm just tired. I'm so tired. And I'll give them that space, and then I'll ask them, what does tired look like to you? Because tired for me is not the same as for you. It's not the same for me today and tomorrow. The same. Tired could be, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling there's a lot of pressure at work. I have family pressure. Sometimes you'll even describe tired as, I feel like a balloon with no air, or I feel like a balloon that's about to pop. Everybody's tired is different. So the coach allows you that space where it's safe, it's confidential, it's non-judgmental. You just get to air what it is, and you see the coach will reflect back. What I'm hearing, correct me, is this what you're saying? And with that, you find the client is able to say, oh, yes, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm seeing. And they get energized. And through the process of coaching, the coach doesn't tell them, by the way, I think you should do this because that's about me. It's the client who says, actually, this is what I think I should do. And from there, then the client is able to say, this is what I will do. And so we can talk about how, by when will you do this? Okay. And you go back and you do what you can do if something doesn't work out. So we go back and forth, and each time you move forward. So I would say the coach is like a mirror, a talking mirror that will propel you forward, always with ideas that come from you, not from the coach. And this way, we are able to look at different aspects of life. And as I think Anita said earlier, sometimes what you need is training. The coach is then not going to train you, but you will research and see, this is what I found, and then we discuss, so what are your needs? Sometimes you need therapy, so then this is the kind of therapist you need to partner with. So coaching will now give you that awareness that this is what I need. Because a lot of times we know what we need, we just don't have the space to put our thoughts together in a more structured way.
I like that answer because some of us, our life coaches have been our friends, right? Are we guilty? Yeah, because you go to your friend, especially when you know your friend is good in a particular area, you're like, please give me advice on this. But I think what you have mentioned is the life coach, theirs is to give you clarity so you make the decision on your own. I might be a show of hands. I'm one of those friends who have already answers. Even as you're talking, I have an answer for you. Am I the only one? Please put I can't be the only one. Yeah. I mean, I have friends who I already know the problem. I already know the answer. You have come to the right person. But Miss Angelikka is telling us a life coach actually removes the answer within you. You already have it. But I want us to segue a bit because we are talking about risk management. Maybe some of us are wondering, do I have that wealth already to manage risk in my finances? But all of us are building towards our wealth. One day we'll get to the billions, one day we'll get to the trillions, and we will remember this critical discussion. And this is where, Ms. Carol, I would love for you to answer, why is risk management and insurance an essential part of anyone's support system, especially when they're seeking to build something that will last and something that will have an impact to generations?
Thank you so much, Angie, for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to reconnect with you and see how you're evolving every single day. So, risk management, we are all building something, no matter how small it is. We are putting all the right measures in place. One key element we tend to forget and look at later is when something happens. So, as you build, part of your measures needs to be protection. What am I talking about? I have bought a house and I am confident and I have put my millions in it, or I have even built it slowly. All of a sudden, the floods occur and my house is destroyed. Did I have a risk measure in place that this should happen? I will be able to get my house back? That's what we are looking at. You might say, I have not reached the stage of building, but you have a rented house and you have your equipments there. Are they protected? You used your money to build all this. Are you going to use your resources to replace them? Let's look at medical treatment. Once someone is being told they're going for surgery, that is when they want to get medical insurance. Is it possible at that particular point in time? So as you journey to build something, you need to be very cautious that you're consulting with someone and you're putting relevant measures in place to protect what it is that you're working for. And insurance is there to simplify this. The house might be 20, 30, 40 million. The insurance might be hardly 100,000. But you're looking at how can I part with that 100,000, and you're forgetting the 40 million worth of property. So should the incident happen, you're looking for this insurance person to see how best they can help you. This only happens if you took the measures beforehand. So risk management is a crucial part of your journey, that every step you make, you need to do an analysis of it and ensure you're well protected and well guarded. Insurance can be used to have a multi-generational impact if you use it very, very well and within your timelines. And that's why you need a risk management person to walk with you that journey, to identify what is it that you need to have. Using it well can even enable you to leave inheritance for your children, a legacy, plan their educations. But we tend to ignore this part and feel I can work hard towards achieving it. So yes, you need us to hold this discussion. You need us in your personal board of directors to walk with you this journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think one of the things that I've heard from you is that let me start protecting what I have right now, so that when I'm able to build the mansions, hallelujah.
Amen.
Thank you, brethren. So when I'm able to build the mansions, then I've already started now. It's not something that I'll begin in the future. But one of the things that Dr. Solomon, you've told us, is that you're able to catch, when you have a personal doctor, some of the things you maybe it's a disease or an illness, you're able to catch it early. But I want you to connect that. Why is screening, checking every year? I believe every year you should go for screening, right? Why is it important, especially building your health that is quality and has impact that allows you to build your purpose? Maybe you can answer that question for us.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'll start by explaining what screening is. Okay, yeah, because screening is actually, as a healthy person without any symptoms, you're okay, you're not sick, you just walk to a facility and there are certain tests that can be done in order to catch a certain illness before it starts bringing problems. So screening is not targeted to the ill person, but to the healthy person, because sometimes you find most of these illnesses are really insidious. You don't really get to feel it until it has advanced. And screening is very important because what it gives you is control of your health and not really panic in a crisis. And the importance, I look at the health challenge or illness as an enemy. So ask yourself, which one is easier to tackle, a small enemy or a big enemy? Of course, a small enemy. And that's the advantage screening gives you. You end up catching a disease while it's still in its infancy, and it's always easier to deal with an infant than an adult. So just if you think about it that way, it would really make sense. Because think about it, it's things like the really big things, because if you look at life, right now worldwide, the largest mortality cause is cardiovascular diseases. And these ones usually are mainly diabetes and hypertension. But in the coming years, I don't know when, but it's postulated that cancer will overtake them all. So cardiovascular, your diabetes, your hypertension, and also cancer, these are usually what usually affects most of the people. And I'm sure in your lives you've heard of someone, just stories of, tulikuwa naye, alikuwa tu sawa, tukawatch news pamoja, akakula, akaoga, akaenda kulala na hakuamka. When postmortem is done, it was a stroke, it was a heart attack. So screening helps you. It actually gives you time to get ahead of the illness. And you see, in this business of health, time is always important. And it's actually what makes the difference between being in control and managing a crisis. So I believe it's important to be screening. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for Doctor. I think you've mentioned that, and some tears have come to my eyes. Just that this past week, we lost a member of our church, and later on they found out it was a stroke, and we were all shocked. It has really shaken us, and I think what you've mentioned is something that I will rally to everyone, including myself. Get screened early. And I don't know about you, but I'm seeing it's screening doesn't start when you get to your 50s. Maybe you can answer, when should anyone start their screening? I think let's not assume we know the ages of what age you should begin your screening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I usually like categorizing because life is a cycle. We have different cohorts.
Yeah.
We have your below 20s, and
Yeah.
we have your 20s to 30s, and you have your 30s to 50s, and then you have the senior citizens. So when you're below 20, you really don't need much of screening because you're still, because age, just like a car, the longer you stay, the more that's when problems start. So most of humanity, when they are younger than 20, they really don't have much problems. And so at this time, most of these lives are under the care of the parents. So it's the parents who are usually in charge. So here, mainly, you just need to eat healthy and exercise. Just keep active. And unfortunately, at this time, we're not in control of our lives most of the time because we're still young, we're still under parents' roof. So it's really the parents who are in charge. So it's important even for parents to know that these health issues actually start from when we are still very young. And it's true when they say you are what you eat. And science has shown that dietary practices, even below the age of 10, actually determine how we live our lives. So it starts that early. And usually when when you look at humanity, you'll find there's this issue of childhood obesity. And as Africans, we have this thing of, yule mtoto amenona, analishwa vizuri, and it's something that is taken with a lot of pride, and I think most of the time it's out of ignorance. And it's always important to instill healthy eating habits from when children are still young, because childhood obesity or childhood nutritional issues would actually affect their adulthood life. So that's and that's why it's really unfortunate, because at this time kids are not in control. So it's always important for kids to understand, parents to understand and take charge of their children's life. So below 20, exercise, activity, and good nutrition. So when you reach 20, you're now in campus, you're discovering life, you're discovering yourself, you're having time, and I'm happy there are young people here. Here, most of the screening, because the hormones are raging and everything, it's mainly sexual. Okay, this is when you get your boyfriends, your girlfriends. This is when you're really not so experienced in life. And most of the time, unfortunately, because this is when you're building the foundation of your life, you'll find many mistakes will happen at this time. And I think this mentorship is really important because people get their eyes opened so that they don't make mistakes that will really scar the rest of their lives. And at this point, usually, the one screening tool that I would talk about is Pap smear. Okay, and this is mainly to the young ladies because Pap smear is actually a screening tool that helps us catch cancer of the cervix early. And believe it or not, cancer of the cervix is actually a sexually transmitted cancer through the virus HPV. And screening, Pap smear should be done by any sexually active woman. So as long as you've had sex, it's incumbent on you to have a Pap smear. And usually at this time, it's encouraged once every 3 years from the age of 20 to 30. And after the age of 30, then there are two options. You can either do a Pap smear once every 3 years, or you can do a Pap smear plus HPV DNA testing, what we call co-testing. And if you do this, then you do it once every 5 years. And this interval is important because I come across women who tell me, may I go for my pap smear every year? And sometimes even their gynaes encourage them that way, but you really don't have to do it every year unless someone is HIV positive. Okay, so the HIV positive individuals are encouraged to do it every year. And HPV screening, we actually can't overemphasize it because it's a virus that sadly has affected almost everyone, and most people don't know it. And when we are young, our immune system is very efficient at just dealing and neutralizing the illness. But problems start when there is persistent, because there are some people who genetically the disease persists and then it causes problems. And by screening for this, you actually fight 5 cancers at a go, because HPV can affect cancer of the cervix, cancer of the vagina, cancer of the vulva, cancer of the penis, cancer of the anus because of anal intercourse and all, and then also cancer of the throat because of oral sex. So you see, by screening that lady on that's just pap smear and HPV and prevention of it, and also getting vaccinated on it, you actually in one swoop be able to manage the 5 cancers. But unfortunately, it's only the pap smear that can be done. You can't really test for HPV on these other sites. When you move from your 20s, now you're in your 30s and 50s, now this is when the foundation is built. Now you're looking into your midlife. So lifestyle issues come in. So this is where your hypertension, diabetes, so you need annual checkups just to make sure your pressures are good, and your blood sugars are good, cholesterol is okay. And also, just like the fitness coach here, you need to take charge of your body, keep a lean body, eat well. So everything that you pick continues, you just add up more things. And so this is when also consistency helps. And as you segue through your 50s and 60s, now you also rope in screening like prostate cancer. And now we remember the men at this time. And prostate cancer is screened just by a simple PSA test. It's a blood test that you encourage to do from the age of 40, once in a year or once every 2 years. And by the age of 50, now this is when now colon cancer screening checks in, and anyone above 50 is encouraged to do a colonoscopy. The only thing is advantageous here, it's just once every 10 years. So it's not so difficult. Once every 10 years, I think we can all hack that. So that's now at your 50s. And when you reach now the 60 and 65, 70, now, you're slowing down. You're looking at doing everything that we've been doing, age-related, but now you're also looking at really maintaining your quality of life, okay? And apart from all these other screening, now as a woman and as a man, your hormones start going down, your estrogen goes down, your testosterone goes down, no bone health issues starts coming in, arthritis and everything, so screening for bone health. And also another important screening tool here is your mental health, because this is when people are retiring. So financial strains, this is when people have started losing people. By the time you're that age, you've probably lost a spouse, lost siblings, lost very close friends. So this is where also social interaction really comes in very key. And the aim here is usually just to maintain a good quality of life and not to forget all the other screening practices. But here, apart from just your health, also your mental well-being is usually very important. So it's a whole cycle of just checking your health. But the main point, and I think the main take-home message here is take control and don't wait for a crisis. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, thank you. A round of applause. So for the rest of the panelists, I'll ask you 2 questions, and so that in the interest of time. So for you, Mr. Oduor, I'd love for you to just unpack for us. All of us have, a lot of us, let me say a majority of us are leading busy schedules. what are the fitness routines that you'd advise us to do? Because all of us are working towards our purpose. And the second question that you'd answer is, what are the most common fitness mistakes people do? You know, in the beginning of the year, we say, these are my fitness goals. But by quarter two, we are not here to shame. We are just here to learn, all of us. By quarter two, the fitness somehow dwindles along. So maybe you can tell us, how can we maintain our fitness consistency, especially that we are all building impactful lives?
Thank you. To maintain, I think for a start, we must have that will. The will. The will is the key thing. Yeah. Then we only need like 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah. And I think 10 to 15 minutes is not much. Yeah. Either you're in a gym or you're at home. Yeah. Like, and again, for those 10 to 15 minutes, what we do encourage is functional fitness, the things that we do every day. Yeah, like maybe you seated in your chair at home, you can just march in place, you can just for like 2 minutes. Then again, you can sit. You sit and stand. You sit and stand. Then we have like seated jacks. Yeah. The functional things. Yeah. So I think that one you can't miss it. For like, then again, you need to start from somewhere. Yeah. Because for daktari, goals are different, and maybe example with her. So we have to start somewhere. We have Olympians and we have the general population. So mainly I deal with general population. General population, you just need those 5 minutes. So don't overdo it. Then let it be realistic, because we have physical activity and exercise. Physical activity is that the movement, yeah? Like maybe walking from here to the loo and coming back. Then for the Olympians or athletes, we do a program. So the program will be different. So for example, if you're a starter, we can say day 1 we do the cardio. So the cardio is not running or going for marathon. You can do a walk, maybe in a park. Yeah. You just walk for like 5 minutes. Yeah. Then you note it down. Then week 2, we'll say we'll walk for like 10 minutes. You note it down. At the end of the day, or after 30 days, like when you come back and you add the minutes, it will make a difference. Yeah. Then again, what I must emphasize is that some people, they tend to like they say by the end of it's January, by maybe March, I want to go to Mombasa. I have to have that bikini body. Yeah. So that bikini body, you go to the YouTube, you choose a celeb, so you follow what she does. What works for her might not work for you. That's where I come in. Yeah, I study your body, I study what you do, so I give you the right exercises. Yeah, and in life we have highs and lows. So maybe when the day you don't feel like working out, yeah, hey, you say, hey coach, leo mazee nimelemewa. I'll just tell you, si ndio you can go for Zumba class. Yeah, like ladies, I know you like dancing. Yeah, after Zumba class is around 45 minutes to 1 hour. By that time, your cardio will be good, and your strength training will be awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
A round of applause from Oduor. I think for me, number one, you have to have the will. You have to have the will. Let me see by show of hands, how many of us regularly work out? Wow, very good. So you can actually, at the end of this session, go to Mr. Oduor, ask him, am I doing the right thing? Because he's told us you could actually be working out, but not in the right way that actually enhances, maybe, number one, your profession, number two, your age, and so forth. He's not asked me to market, but I'm marketing him. So please, reach out to him after the session. I want to ask Miss Angelikka also to answer two questions. The first one is, can you speak to the role of spiritual direction, especially when it comes to personal growth? And then tie that with, what are the steps, and especially practical steps, that anyone in this room can take to identify the right mentor, the right coach, so that, because we are living in a world where if I Google today, coach, life coach, many may come. But what are the practical steps so that someone makes the right decision on the right coach?
So when it comes to spiritual direction, the reason why we are looking for a spiritual director is because we want to build our inner compass. So you want a compass that is accurate. If you use a compass that is faulty, defective, you'll go anywhere because you don't quite know where north is. Because it's showing you north is here, then it changes a little bit, and north keeps shifting. And to do this, one needs to reflect and see, what are my values? Spiritual direction takes you a little bit deeper to your beliefs, your value system, your value system has been built. Some of the things you learned as a child in your home, in school, in your place of worship, there are values that you pick up that start to define how you do things. And as we go along, you find you're building knowledge on career, building your skills, building your body. You have a beautiful body. But then as you grow and mature, your spiritual life is still 5 years old. Is 5 years old going to be able to take you to the next level? So when you look at this and you see, am I still aligned to the belief system that I grew up with? And you find that it has gone off a bit, then it's not too late to sit back, because the spiritual guide will help you stop and take stock of where you are now and where you want to be. Because we're not just body and mind, we have a spirit. And as the doctor told us, the body will decay. We are being told, because I'm heading 60, that we're going to have to be managing. I'm going to have to manage my energy, manage my health. Those are things that I have to be very intentional about. But no matter what I do, this body is going to decay. Your mind will go with the body, then what will be left? The spirit. Where is your spirit going? If you have a belief system you believe in Buddha, you believe in Islam, Muhammad, Allah, you believe in Christ, they talk about the spirit. The spirit is going somewhere. So why is it that we relegate the spirit to the last, in crisis? You're at the deathbed and you're like, oh my goodness, what's important to me? So to your second question of how do we do this, the first thing we do is take stock and reflect on, where am I now and where do I want to be? Why am I doing what I do? Because I believe true leadership starts when you align the how you do things and the why you do things. Nothing is conflicting. You can't say that I believe that all men are equal, and then I go out there and I kick the bucket of the guy who's cleaning the floor, or I cut somebody in traffic because I have a big car and he has a tiny Vitz, and so my car is bigger than yours. And then you say, I'm working for the people. So when you see leaders who are able to align, you find very powerful people who will step back and let you through. I like a nice story I heard. He works at the World Bank. I forget his name, but he wears a turban. And so he's from Mokori. He's a Mokorino, and he was brought up in the States, but that is his faith. He's a Mokorino. And so he was talking about how he went, I think they were, at Serena. He had gone for a meeting. He was representing World Bank in a government forum. And everyone was getting their tea, like here. And so these big shots from government, they come, and so they look at this Mokorino in a suit, and one guy tells him, get me some tea. And so he stood up and went to get him his tea and sat down and, went to sit at the end, and somebody else called him and he served them. And then when it was time for the meeting to begin, there were, of course, Europeans there as well. So all the guys are looking at them, Zungus. And he's the one who was representing World Bank. So it was a very uncomfortable situation for these fellows, but see his humility. And I thought, wow, this is a true leader. He could have risen up and said, don't you know who I am? But he didn't. So that's the kind of leader you want to be. So look around and see, among the people you know, who lives a life of alignment? They walk the talk. Do you need a mentor in a certain space? I need someone who's walked the journey, who can take me through this journey. I'm in HR, I'm in marketing. I want to be like, say, Patricia Idao. She's the one I know in marketing for a long time. So how can I get someone or get Patricia to give me a few minutes? If it's a coach that I want, then I have to look for a coach who either has coached certain people, or when you have your introductory session, you're able to gauge, is this person genuine, or are they just looking at how much money they're going to make out of me? In the same way, your spiritual advisor has to be somebody who lives a life that you're proud to know. It doesn't have to be somebody loud, but somebody who is aligned with where you want to go. So I think that is what I would say.
Thank you so much. A round of applause. Thank you. So from you, I've underlined the word alignment. That is important. And so for you, Ms. Carol, the two questions is number one, what are the key types of insurance or risk mitigation strategies that we can consider? Because earlier I asked us, who are the Gen Y, who are the millennials? Because we're looking at the different stages of our lives. And then the second question is, what are the common mistakes people should watch out for when investing in insurance or managing risks?
Thank you so much for those questions. The first thing I'd like to say, when you're looking at risk management, I have 6 pillars which I believe are key and apply at every stage of your life. I call them the Elite Insurance Solution Suite. And the first thing I look at is, do you have an emergency fund in place? That is the key thing you need to start with. And here, we are looking at almost you creating 6 months worth of your income. Most people say 6 months of your expenses. Don't look at expenses. Why are you going the shorter route? Look at creating 6 months of your income, and this should not be money that is lying around. This money should be somewhere earning interest for you. And because it's an emergency fund, when you need it, you should be able to access it. Secondly, health insurance. This is a key pillar. We've heard this phrase a million times and I can never emphasize it more. Every single Kenyan is one medical bill away from poverty. So when you have a medical emergency, don't use your emergency fund to cater for it when insurance should have been able to handle it. On the other hand, we start disposing of assets to pay medical bills. Have the right places in measure. We now even have plans that are specific for cancer plans. And if you take them early enough, the cheaper it is for you. When it comes to insurance and risk management, age is your ally. The younger, the cheaper. But again, I always say it's never too late to start because today is the youngest you will ever be. The third phase is your assets, asset protection. From your car to your houses, to your physical body, to the businesses you're building and the empires. Make sure you have a conversation around that and the relevant measures to protect all of that. Education planning. In Kenya, we take education as an emergency. We party in December. In January, we are signing salary advance and loans to cater for first-term school fees. I'm sure many people can relate. But what we know our children, why do you say I want my child to be a doctor, an engineer, a professor? Are you putting funds in place so that they can be able to achieve that dream? And when you're doing education planning, it goes even deeper. Which kind of universities do I want my children to attend? And then you ask yourself another question, which is difficult. And in the African setup, we don't like asking, what if I'm not there? Will this child still be able to get the kind of quality education and the dream that I want? That is where it also comes in. And when you're doing risk management, we also want to look at retirement. She doesn't look anything close to 60. Probably looks my age mate, yeah? But when you look at it, you have to take care of the person who will take care of the older you is the younger version of you. So I always tell my clients, you're earning 2 salaries to take care of the older you and to take care of the current you. So as you plan, be setting up something that will take care of your retirement. And we're not talking about just creating a side hustle, because even at that age, your energy levels will not be the same. So while now you might pull 2, 3 kind of jobs, at this particular point, when you're already 60, you want to start winning off of some of the things that really need your active involvement. And also choose the kind of retirement you want. Personally, I talk about luxurious travel. So I need to make sure I have funds available for my travel. At that point, I'd like baby girl treatment. So I want to have my spa dates. But for me to take care of that, I need to do it right now so that I can afford that kind of lifestyle that I want to build. Lastly, succession. What are you leaving behind? I'm highly spiritual. I think that is what has really centered me to where I am. And I believe in leaving an inheritance for my children. What kind, as I'm enjoying my baby girl life treatment, what kind of lifestyle am I living for my children? What kind of inheritance? And something powerful is in the market, but we are so ignorant of it. And when you bring it, no one wants to listen. To the younger generation, with a single premium of almost 300,000, you can start your children off with an inheritance of almost 5 million. The younger you are, the cheaper it is. You can pay it one-off, you can pay off monthly premiums, annual premiums, but you have something so powerful that you're leaving behind for your children. Then when you talk to your client, they ask you, I'm doing all this and then I leave it for other people. Who are these other people? Are your children other people? Are they? If you're not trusting the people you're living with, in your succession, have a trust fund story. Create your trust fund, leave something for your generations to come, because nobody understands life and life events. That is for our maker. For you, it's to do the relevant measures in place. The other question was on the key mistakes we make. Today, I might walk out of this room, you meet Carol, you start telling her, what did you say about education planning? Sign me up for an education policy. Next week, you meet me again, you tell me, by the way, there was this and this and this. So you don't have a strategic way of grouping everything together. Take time and walk the journey and analyze, what do I have? Where is the gap? and how can I feel it? That is what I actually do with my clients. If you tell me you have a policy, I'd like to see, what do you have? Is it sufficient? Is it adequate? The other question we ask, give me the cheapest in the market. Why are you going for cheap? Is your property cheap? Are your children cheap? The question should be, is it the right cover for me? And when you secure something from insurance, take time and go through the documents. You can actually analyze it with the person who has secured it. We go through it. We ensure that you're properly covered. Don't just take a haphazard and you're like, oh, I'm okay, I'm settled. No, always review it and see. Then the same way your life is changing and upgrading and evolving is the same way your level of insurance should upgrade. As you're starting life, you are undergoing treatment in okay, now I've used the hospitals in Mombasa. Let me try and come. As you're going through life, you start with like tier 3 hospitals. Let me use that kind of example. But as your life is upgrading, you're also moving to higher end hospitals. Your medical cover should evolve with you, so that this does not hit you're now being treated in Aga Khan, but the medical cover you have was accommodating you in the mission hospitals. You need to be upgrading. So you need periodic review. When I was doing education planning, I had 1 child. Now I have 4. Is the education plan sufficient to cater for the 4? So risk management is a continuous process, not a one-off. So you do not need to walk 10 people the journey. The same way you do your doctor's appointment is the same way you should take risk management and have a regular checkup and make sure you have the right and proper coverage. Thank you.
A round of applause. Thank you, Miss Carol, for reminding us we want to be treated as baby girl. But to get to that, we need to realize, I don't know about you, but I'm realizing that's the same thing when it comes to your health. That's the same thing when it comes to your fitness. And that's the same thing when it comes to having a coach, an executive coach, or even a mentor. So whatever age, I love the way you've mentioned, whatever age, today is the youngest I'll ever be. So if I can start today, in the next 10 years, I'll make a difference. So a round of applause to our personal board of directors. Haven't they done amazing? I like that, yes, because now, usually when we have panel discussions, we have questions for the audience. But today we want to ask the panel of directors, do they have questions for you? Because you said yes, right? So maybe, do you have any question for them, by the way? We want to twist this morning. Yes, do you have any question for them? For the doctor, for risk management? Do you have any question? Or maybe even any one word or one sentence you'd love to leave with them as we take our seats? Anything that you'd love to leave?
I'd just like to ask the audience, the mic doesn't like me, to remain open, teachable, open to changing your mind. Like I really loved Anita's story. Be resilient, be vulnerable, but honestly, just be open to learning. If you're open to learning, changing, growing, nothing will stop you. It doesn't matter. As she said, today is the youngest you'll ever be. So even today, even if Angela is a doctor, if my purpose is to be a doctor, even at my age, I can start. I know much older women who have started and are there. So it's about not holding things too heavy. Be light, travel light. With all this that we're giving you, hold everything very lightly, and all the best.
Well, I think my parting shot would be just to remind us. Am I audible? I am.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to remind us to know our numbers, okay, in health. Your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar levels. And since the theme of this meeting is getting the right people, just make sure that a healthcare practitioner is part of your inner circle. Because if you are to live a fulfilled life, your health depends on it. So don't take it for granted. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing.
On my part, I can just encourage you also, make sure a risk management person is in your circle and evolve with them. Protect what you have so that you can thrive in all the seasons of life. And I wish you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Carol.
My parting shot will be, motion is lotion. Yeah, and
Wow.
you have to act and believe. Yeah, you have to act and believe. Thank you.
Wow, a round of applause as they have their seats.